Power English.
Welcome to the show, everybody.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kristen Cho.
And I'm Cameron Word.
Thanks for joining us, as always.
Yes.
We've got a food dialogue for you today. Cooking for dietary restrictions.
Yes.
And we've learned that you have 0 restrictions.
I eat everything.
You eat everything.
Yeah.
And anything. Anything? Is there anything that you don't like to eat?
I mean, there are things I don't like to eat. Mm-hmm. I'm not a fan of raw tomatoes.
Yes.
But I love cooked tomatoes.
Oh, okay.
But there's an exception.
What?
I love, caprese salad. Like, if you take the raw tomato and you put it with, basil
and mozzarella.
Totally fine.
Okay.
But, if you just have, a tomato in a salad,
yeah.
Not my favorite.
Okay.
What about
not
you?
Your favorite.
Do you have any, weird things like that?
Okay, I will tell you. I cannot have, organ meats.
Like 곱창.
Yes, or kan. Or, anything that is a little bit, anything organ related is hard for me.
But it's organic.
It is. And it's good for you, too.
Yeah, it has a lot of, iron and...
I know. It's not my thing. All right. So our topic, cooking for dietary restrictions. It keeps you on your toes. This happens to be one of our power expressions.
Yes.
To keep you on your toe. Mm-hmm. Are you like a ballerina? You're always on your toe?
Maybe you are.
Okay.
But no, this expression is about it keeps you alert. Mm-hmm. You can't move your focus to something else. You have to focus.
Right.
Pay attention. And stay active with that thing.
Okay, very good. How about if you take a chance?
You are doing something maybe risky, something that will not 100% happen.
Yeah.
But you are hoping to take a risk and get a big reward.
That's right. You're willing to do it and to see what happens.
Yeah.
And our last expression is an informal expression, to screw up. S-C-R-E-W. What is to screw up?
Yeah, so this is very casual. It means to make a mistake, but when you use the word screw up, it seems like a big mistake.
It does.
A major mistake.
You could say mess up, but if you screw up, it does feel a little bit more serious.
A little bigger, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Let's go ahead and listen to our food dialogue.
One of the hardest things is ordering food for delivery. I can't take a chance that a restaurant might use peanut oil for cooking, for example.
I'm sure that keeps you on your toes.
It's the same with restaurants that claim to sell gluten-free options. If they make a mistake, my husband feels miserable for the next 2 days.
What can you do?
Well, we know a few restaurants that have never screwed up, so we order from them.
It's good to have reliable options.
Let's take a look at our dialogue on page 44. Michelle begins by saying, one of the hardest things is ordering food for delivery. I can't take a chance that a restaurant might use peanut oil for cooking, for example. Okay, our power pattern is one of the hardest things is.
Yes.
Okay, so one of the hardest thing.
Right.
Why is that a pattern?
So this is what you think it means. It maybe isn't the hardest, but it's one of them, right? But it's a very common expression that is used to begin a complaint.
Good.
Right?
Yeah.
You're trying to emphasize that it's really hard, and you don't want to say, oh my gosh, this is the hardest.
Yeah.
But you want to put it in that category of the top, of one of the most hardest. So the meaning itself is not anything, I guess, special or unexpected, but it is common enough that I think it's good to be able to say it without even really thinking, right?
That's interesting, because you could say, I hate it when, which is so direct.
Yeah.
It's a very strong complaint. But it's kind of this is inconvenient. One of the hardest things.
Yes.
It's a nicer way of starting a complaint.
Right.
And Michelle's complaint is ordering food for delivery. She has an allergy. And so she can't take a chance.
Yes.
Okay. Take a chance, like you mentioned earlier, means that you're willing to do something with a little bit of possible risk.
Yes.
But if you say, I can't take a chance on that, what are you really saying?
You're saying you can't risk it. So with this allergy, it's a very bad allergy.
Yeah.
So unless she's 100% certain that there is no any small amount of peanut in that recipe, she cannot even attempt.
Yes.
She doesn't even want to try.
Yeah.
Because it could be, a life or death situation.
Right. You don't even want to try. I think that's the key right there.
Don't even take a chance.
Don't even take a chance. Don't even try. That's basically what this is saying. Because they might use peanut oil.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Anton says, I'm sure that keeps you on your toes.
Yes.
What is he really saying?
So, if something keeps you on your toes, it means that you can't relax. And there are a few different contexts and kind of shades of meaning here. But this one in particular means Michelle cannot relax when she's ordering.
So,
she always has to be careful when she's ordering food.
That's right.
So that's why she is always on her toes.
So she has to be cautious.
Yeah.
She has to be vigilant. It's like always kind of aware of her surroundings to keep someone on their toes. Now, this is talking about food. How about other contexts?
So a child can keep you on your toes?
Yeah.
Like, when a child's like 2 or 3 and they can walk and then they can do a lot of dangerous things.
Oh, yeah.
But they don't realize that, climbing up a bookshelf is dangerous.
Right.
That is probably, as a parent or if you are just looking after children, the time whenever the child keeps you on your toes the most because they're always doing something.
Totally.
So you always have to be watching them.
Cameron, half a second, they're already like touching something that they shouldn't be. Yeah. Or they're like crawling and they're already in the bathroom.
Yeah, they're in the kitchen. They're in the kitchen and they pulled out a knife.
Right.
Where did you find this?
Yeah, that's right.
Just all of these, children find these most dangerous things.
They are so good at that. Okay. So what does Michelle say?
It's the same with restaurants that claim to sell gluten-free options. If they make a mistake, my husband feels miserable for the next 2 days.
Now, this is really true because they say people who have a gluten allergy, this is serious, and they say, it's gluten-free, but then if you really look at the ingredients, there's something gluten in their ingredients.
Oh, yeah. And, at a restaurant, especially like an American restaurant, which I worked at, several, either A, the waiter doesn't know, because some of the items, it has a ton of ingredients.
Yeah, you don't know.
Right. For example, I worked at a sushi place. Yeah. The sushi is gluten-free.
Yeah.
But the soy sauce isn't.
That's right.
And you just can't know.
How do you know? How can you suspect?
You have to look at every single bottle in the restaurant.
That's it. Yeah. So it's very important that you check. And Anton says, what can you do? And Michelle says, well, we know a few restaurants that have never screwed up, so we order from them. So I guess it's kind of trial and error. You try and then, yeah. So they have never screwed up.
Yes. So screw up, like we talked about, is a mistake. But it's often a bigger mistake, a more severe mistake. So here, if a restaurant screws up on a recipe for someone who has an allergy, obviously that's a big deal.
Sure.
Because that person, could have a bad reaction, need to go to the hospital or something worse.
Right.
So that would be a mistake that you could say is a screw up.
It sure is. And Anton says it's good to have reliable options. So there are some restaurants that are 100% okay.
Yes.
And he's like, it's good to have these options, but reliable.
Yes.
And that is our power vocabulary.
So here, reliable means something you can trust. So there are options that you can trust. You do not have to worry if they are safe to eat or not.
Right.
You already know that they are.
Sure. And a person can be reliable as well.
Yeah, if they're always able to help you, if you have a problem, they'd be considered a reliable person.
I would have to say that you're a very reliable partner. A co-host, yeah.
You're the only one that thinks that.
All right, let's go ahead and listen to that dialogue one more time.
One of the hardest things is ordering food for delivery. I can't take a chance that a restaurant might use peanut oil for cooking, for example.
I'm sure that keeps you on your toes.
It's the same with restaurants that claim to sell gluten-free options. If they make a mistake, my husband feels miserable for the next 2 days.
What can you do?
Well, we know a few restaurants that have never screwed up, so we order from them.
It's good to have reliable options.
Please join us on pages 46 and 47. It's time for Power Note. We're going to do a quick review and give you some example sentences using the expressions that we just learned. If you take a chance, there is a chance, a possibility that there's going to be a risk or a negative outcome, but you try it anyway.
Yes.
Okay. I'm taking a chance hiring your brother. He has no experience.
Don't worry, he learns fast and works hard.
So when you're hiring people, you think, oh, their education is a little bit lacking, but he seems like he would be a good hard worker. You are taking a little chance.
Yeah.
They have no experience, not a lot of education. Kind of risky.
Right.
If you don't take a chance sometimes, you'll never have real success.
That's true. If you, I don't know of a single person that you would see as successful that didn't take a chance.
Sure.
Or risked. Even just, if you think about, the Olympics or, professional athletes, their life is taking a chance.
For sure.
Because they're dedicating their whole life to a sport, and they might still fail.
Of course.
So the people that do succeed in the end, they took a huge chance.
Don't you think we took a chance by coming and living in Korea?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, leaving your home country.
Right.
Coming here to a country that doesn't speak English even though there are a lot of good English speakers.
Especially for you, yeah.
Not a native speaker. You took a chance on me.
As
far as, getting on the show.
Yeah.
Well,
I didn't know if it would work out.
Thank goodness it did.
Actually, Cameron, I did. I knew we would work out. Okay. Keep someone on one's toes means to have them be alert, active, and focused.
Yes.
Yeah, so you're kind of you can't completely relax. It must be hard raising 3 kids under 4 years old.
They definitely keep me on my toes. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, children. We talked about children. Especially when they're all under 4.
Goodness.
Oh, my dear. You can never relax if you have, a toddler and an infant.
Yeah, they're always, getting something dirty. Or getting hurt.
Yeah.
Or they're hungry.
Oh, my.
or they're sleepy. Yeah.
The frequent visits by the CEO kept the factory workers on their toes. You know how we feel when the boss comes, or the president, 사장님, or 회장님 comes. That day, you're gonna be working hard.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you never know when they're gonna come, they could come at any time.
Oh, yeah.
That would keep you on your toes.
Right. So that's the thing. When you don't know what's going to happen, but there's a chance that something's going to happen, that's when you are, on your toes.
Yeah.
Because you have to be ready.
Yeah, you have to be ready to change or react to whatever the situation is.
Let's give one more example of being on your toes, or to keep someone on their toes.
Yeah, if you're keeping someone on your toes, maybe there is some type of interview, and the person asking the questions just asks the weirdest question.
Oh, no.
You know how you have your regular interviews.
Right.
So people who do interviews, they kind of get comfortable, what is your greatest weakness?
Yeah.
What would you do in a team environment?
Yeah, why do you want to work here?
Yeah. But if it's some weird question like, suppose you were eating lunch right before a big meeting and you got spaghetti sauce all on the front of your shirt.
What would you do?
What would you do?
That's so random.
Like a question that you do not get in an interview often. That type of question would keep you on your toes.
Sure.
Because you have to be focused and think of a good answer on the spot.
So true. Absolutely. So it is not a predictable interview.
Right.
It is unpredictable. You don't know what's going to be asked. So you have to be on your toes.
Yeah. It's like, you know that mole game at video game arcades? The mole pops out of the hole?
Yes.
And you go,
whack-a-mole. Whack-a-mole.
Whack. And you never know where it's going to come out.
Yeah.
It's kind of that feeling.
Yeah.
You just have to be ready to hit that mole whenever.
That's right. So the pattern here is something A keeps you on your toes, or you could also say like, it keeps me on my toes.
Right.
Okay. All right. If you screw up, it means you make a pretty big mistake. I know I screwed up, but I deserve a second chance.
Screwed up? You set the store on fire.
But it wasn't my fault. I promise.
Oh, goodness. That's
okay,
funny.
That's a big one.
This is a good example of screw up. We talked how it's like a big mistake, right? But if you look at it from an even bigger scale, it's like a medium mistake. So a mistake is smaller.
Right.
Screw up is in the middle. And then setting the store on fire is like a catastrophe.
It is a catastrophe.
So I guess there is a limit both on the lower end and the upper end of what would be considered a screw up.
And that's why he's like, screwed up? He's like, no, that's not a middle mistake.
Yeah.
Okay.
Much more than screwed up.
Yeah. Mike screwed up and gave the customer back too much money. Okay, that's a mistake, big mistake.
Yeah.
Okay. Power pattern, one of the hardest things. When you hear this, you know that some sort of complaint is coming. One of the hardest things I ever had to do was fire my sister from her job.
Oh, gosh.
Oof.
Can you imagine?
That is a real hard thing.
One of the hardest things to do is to give away your dog. I cannot imagine. But it happens, depending on the situation.
In both of these instances, it was very hard to do.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Power vocab, reliable is our word. Do check out the definition on page 48. And make sure you stop by Audio 어학당. And what do you do there?
You pay a small monthly fee.
Yes.
And you listen to the shows that you and I are in.
Yeah. Again
over
and
again.
Over and over again.
At least 3 times a day.
At least.
Yeah.
And please make sure to join us for our live show evening special tonight.
Yes,
okay. Have a great day, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.